The explosives they threw were on a delay, and I saw P-21 leap upon one and deftly pull a wire out of the thing. He stuffed one of the bomb collars with the explosive, and then another, and another. One of those bombs was impressive enough, but I wondered what 20 of them would do. I'd recalled what he'd done in flank. I knew a bomb like that would certainly convince me to back off. Lacuna, get Glory up to that roof. P-21, keep doing what you're doing. Scotch, stay back. Rampage? Crap. One of the burners was chasing me as Lacuna teleported Glory to the roof of the firehouse behind us. From the elevated position, she could send a stream of crimson beams to wash back and forth over the advancing burners. The Steel Rangers had established a firing line, and Gatling guns, grenade machine guns, and a thumping Brown Betty were starting to take their toll. The burners were taking cover and throwing smoke bombs. Frenzied raiders slammed into us with axes, clubs, and rebar and concrete, and even a sword made out of a wagon's rear bumper. The Earth Pony wielding the sword seemed particularly focused on me. The mass and power of his swing slammed into me, my own upraised blade. I saw an opening as clear as day, though, and my sword turned faster than I'd ever wielded it before. The tip sliced through his spiked armor to his throat, and I felt a supreme sense of satisfaction as I sliced his artery. His blood sprayed over me as he tried for a few more feeble swings with the massive sword. As his weapon dropped, I cleanly sliced his head free of his shoulders, like cutting butter. Then I realized I was bleeding too. I'd been so caught up in the fight that I'd missed it entirely. My opening hadn't been as sure as I'd thought, and he'd cut a jagged tear just above my cutie mark. Another of Keeper's healing potions stopped the bleeding. If I lived through this, I'd have to send him a thank you note and ask him where he got fresh potions. Suddenly, I heard the clatter of hooves, and on my EFS a red bar appeared. I balked as I pointed my shotgun into the pall of smoke rising up from the street. It made my eye water, and the reek and rasp of whatever chemicals were in it sent me coughing. Suddenly, I spotted a buck racing right at me. He was wearing a gas mask adorned with 4 dash inhalers screwed in place. The pupils were nearly non-existent, as his infected yellow eyes, as he raced towards me. Oh, and his barding was made of explosives. I slipped into Sats and had just enough time for one explosive shell to his head. It pulped his noggin, and the momentum later, the buck exploded. There was no blood or bone. He simply vaporized in a cloud of steel and a sheet of flame where he'd fallen. I was thrown clear off my hooves, rolling across the cracked asphalt. I looked up in time to see another one charging the paladin, but with his astonishing grace and power, he grabbed the head of the suicidal pony and spun, throwing him back towards his comrades. One ranger wasn't quick enough, though. The explosion crumpled his armor like a tin can. I couldn't tell who it was, as their entire front was blown away, launching a smoldering rear half into the street behind us. The heavy, cloying smoke clung low to the ground and filled the street rather than rising up. Every now and then a fiery plume would spray out at us and send me scrambling backwards. "Too bad you don't have a gun, Paladin," I shouted, firing blindly at the red bar in front of me. "A strong hoof never is disarmed," he decreed as he stepped towards the wagon. "Observe the strong hoof technique that's been passed down for generations. First step." And once more he stomped with an incredible explosion that ripped and crackled the asphalt. The entirety of the rusty wagon was knocked into the air. "Second step." He turned around, and a blast from his pneumatic rams and his potent rear legs sent the entire wreck flying in the direction of the burner boys. I just stared at the fuzzy image of a raider getting smashed by the bouncing debris. "You threw that fight," I shouted at him. He snorted, blasting 2 jets of steam again. "You dare question my honor? The splenic ganglion is a well-established pressure point weakness exploitable by the very few knowledgeable of the strong hoof lineage. Clearly you know what that weakness and thus won our duel fairly, winning the freedom of your friends. How else could you have possibly defeated me and thus allowed me to overlook my oath requiring your friends to be taken to my elder?" I blinked, then smiled. Thanks, Paladin Stronghoof. He gave another blasting snort, and I swore that the glowing eye panel winked at me. Then I frowned. But did you have to hit me with a road? In a faintly embarrassed tone, he muttered, Well, I thought you could take it. We'd fallen back to the crossroads, where the collision of 3 rusty wagons offered some cover. The burner boys seemed to be falling back, which was good. I really hated that smoke. My eye was watering terribly, and I kept coughing and hacking. There weren't any more bombarding raiders rushing us. Yet. Were they really pulling back? Please tell me they were pulling back. All my EFS confirmed that there were still a lot of red bars out there. And over there... Wait. I looked off to the side as a little pink pony in my head wearing a green camouflage helmet pointed out a whole lot more red over there. Get down! I shouted as crimson beams flashed into us from the left side, and even the massive buck had to duck for cover from the glaring energy barrage. Apparently, my destruction of the flashers hadn't been complete. I couldn't count numbers of red bars through the smoke, but at least 24 flash fillies filled the side street with flickers of incinerating death. My hide burned as an enemy Gatling beam gun splashed over my side. We were caught up in a crossfire. P-21, we need that bomb, I yelled as Glory, Turnip, and Fruit Salad returned their fire to the side street at the advancing mares. He'd finished with one collar and was now working on a second one. If Lacuna could drop the combined charge he was making into the middle of their lines, they might scatter and run. I knew I would. The smoke and reek was making everything one big confusing glare, so I barely had time to notice the flying grenade before it smacked me right in the forehead. I took 2 steps from the sudden stab of pain, then 1 second to lift it up, then it went off in my face. The blue band flashed once, and an electric tingle ran from my hoof to my horn. And nothing else happened. I blinked and let out a relative laugh. Then I noticed that Glory was the only pony still firing. I looked over at Fruit Salad, and the mare was just standing there. What's wrong? I yelled, as I fired wildly in the direction of the red bars on my EFS. Spell matrix crash, she yelled from the confines of her helmet. I can't restore the system. The ejection system isn't working either. On my other side, Turnip was also frozen, muttering expletives over and over again. More discharged grenades rolled around at their feet. The one that hit me hadn't been alone. Oh, shit. What can I do? I yelled, popping out the shotgun's ammo drum and reloading slugs. Those explosive shells were cooking the barrel like crazy. It was smoking. It was almost brand new, and 1 drum of explosive rounds had already made it look like it was not going to last much longer. I need a Pip-Buck spell matrix to restart it, she replied. Well, I was busy, but I wasn't the only Pip-Buck here. Scotch! Scotch tape! I need you! I screamed, but with all the gunshots and explosions, I knew she couldn't hear me. Lacuna, however, appeared beside me in a purple flash. She had the minigun from the dead ranger's armor floating above her, as her shield appeared around her and the helpless ranger. Go. I will protect her as long as I am able, Lacuna said calmly in my mind. Then the minigun motor revved as it floated overhead, and the alicorn began to return fire with deadly and precise bursts. The goddess is quite keen to put this rabble in their place. After dealing with that mare, well... Her eyes flashed and her voice boomed. The goddess finds this very therapeutic. Miffle, whimpered Fruit Salad. Therapy. Hoofington style. I loaded Scotch Tape's Pip-Buck tag and raced across the crossroads. There was P-21 strapping together a bomb that I hoped Lacuna would be able to drop on the flashers, but where was Scotch? Hiding in a wagon, the filly was curled up in a ball, shaking. I reached down and held her close. I couldn't ask her to do this. I should ask P-21 to take her out of here. Take her someplace safe, someplace better. The rusted wagon jerked as a grenade detonated outside, and she gasped, hugging her hooves over her head. You can't protect her, Blackjack, the dealer said as he trotted up next to me. I have to, I whispered. You can't. Even if you protect her today and tomorrow, someday you'll be gone. You can't spare her the horror. He insisted softly. Why not? Is that too damn much to ask? That she be safe and happy and not scared? I shouted at him. I'd save one, just one, and I'd give anything I could to keep her intact. What kind of sick world goes out of its way to hurt and scare a filly? I demanded. He just shook his head slowly. It's called growing up, Blackjack. And you can't keep her safe from that. Maybe I couldn't. But was it so wrong to try? Yes. If it meant leaving Fruit Salad to die. Damn it. I clenched my eyes shut as the wagon rocked against the detonation outside. I looked down at her and sighed. Scotch, I need your help. She sniffed as she shook, looking up at me with wide, teary green eyes. There's a ranger who needs your help. She needs something called a spell matrix restarted. Can you do that? Yes, she stammered, then clenched her eyes shut. But I can't. I'm scared. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. If you stay close, I'll try to keep you safe and sound. Okay? I said as I poked my head out. The red beam flashed before my eye, and I watched the tip of my mane transform into ash. My lips twisted into a trembling grin. I was fairly sure that Scotch might be the sanest one of us all. See? Nothing to be scared of. I'm not scared of the fighting. I'm scared of those metal ponies, she said as she shook her head hard. But I don't understand why I'm scared. I shouldn't be scared. I like machines. We tried to hide from the Rangers after Lacuna saved that $1, but when he drug out his armor and put it on, I thought he was going to gobble me up. It's like I'm a stupid baby or something, she said as she smacked her temples, shaking even harder. But you shouldn't be afraid, I muttered. Had the memory spell failed? Was it temporary? Or was there some instinctive part of her mind that remembered? Damn it. I knew it'd been too easy. I know. It's just stupid. I'm stupid. She sniffled as she covered her face. You should have left me in 99. Then I'd be with Mama. I held her firmly. You're not stupid. Look at me. I'm stupid, I said, thumbing my chest for emphasis. I get hit by boats. You're at least smart enough to avoid that. Despite everything, she made a noise, half sob and half laugh, and I held her close. I know you're scared. Being scared is perfectly normal right now, Scotch Tape. But there's 2 Rangers who need your help. She curled up even more. If you can't go, tell me how to restart their spell matrixy thingies. For several seconds, she didn't answer. Then pulled out a strange golden wand thing the size of a pencil and studded with little gems. There was a tiny inscription. Property of rivets. Give it the fuck back when you're done. She murmured softly. Hold this. Link up to the armor and access system tools. System interface, spell matrix programs, spell matrix restore. And if that doesn't work, full matrix reboot. She wiped her eyes. I'm sorry, Blackjack. Hey, don't be, I murmured as I stroked her mane. You gave me what I needed. Stay safe, okay? I ran back to where Lacuna was almost single-hornedly fending off the entire filly front. She'd not only levitated her own gun, but turnips as well. Her magic manually manipulating her weapons, strapped to his armor while also firing deadly volleys of glowing arrows. Drop a boxcar on us, will you? Trap us in a memory orb? Toss a balefire egg in our face? She roared with the voices of hundreds. Put me down! Put me down! Put me down! Screamed Turnip as I rushed to Fruit Salad and began to use the system tools to restart his armor. I really hoped Paladin Sugar Applebomb Stronghoof didn't see pretty much anything going on over here right now. I didn't want to know what his oath of honor might force him to do.